Trying to reconnect. All right, waiting till y'all all jump on. Then I'm gonna start talking.
Are you on right now?
Yep.
I'll tell you later. In the future, well, actually, right now, you could have used Adobe Webinar. You could have all those people watching on, plus have your guests, and you could have people as your guests in the meeting forums.
Oh, okay. I don't have a guess.
Not tonight, but in the future.
All right, y'all. I'm almost ready. All right, we need to hit 1,000. Hey, we need to hit 1,000 on Twitter. All right, so y'all send it out. Twitter, y'all need to start sharing it. We need to hit 2,000 on Facebook, 1,000 on Twitter. So let's go. 1,000 on Twitter, then I'm ready to roll. Okay, I'm past 2,000 on Facebook. Let's go. Y'all share it. I need to hit 1,000 on Twitter, and then I'm gonna start. So y'all start sharing this bad boy right now, and I'm gonna start my instant analysis, and then we are ready to roll. Okay, we're 1,000 on Twitter. All right. Hashtag Black Votes Matter. September 23rd, 2017, at Congressional Black Caucus Foundation. I just posted the photo. Doug Jones stood next to me. We talked. He said, I have to get massive black voter turnout in order to win. The only reason Doug Jones right now is Senator-elect from Alabama is because of African Americans. Do y'all hear me? It's because of African Americans. Black women, 97% of black women voted for Doug Jones. 92% of black men voted for Doug Jones. Black people over-indexed. In fact, they exceeded the turnout for Obama. 30% of the electorate in Alabama this election was African American. 30%. 2006, 2012, it was 28%. I need everybody to understand who is listening to the sound of my voice. This is evidence of what happens when black people maximize our power. It doesn't matter what white folks do. All these folks on television, yeah, they're going to give some credit to African Americans. They're going to say how well he did, but they're going to say how well Doug Jones did in the areas of educated white voters. No, listen to me clearly, people. Doug Jones won tonight in Alabama. Right now, his lead is less than 10,000. If black people do not turn out in unbelievable numbers in the black belt, he has no shot. It doesn't matter what educated white folks do. Doug Jones has no shot. So here's the first thing. White Southern Democrats, if you want to win, stop being afraid of black people. What I mean by that is you must speak to black people. You must have an agenda for black people. You must be willing to put the resources on the ground. That's how you are able to win. Plus, you got to be honest with white voters and not be scared of their sensibilities. That's first. Two, Democratic Party, nonpartisan groups, you had better put the money on the ground early. If it was not for those black women who raised that money out there, for who was sitting here, and I had them on TV One, and I had them on Tom Joyner, this doesn't happen. I need black people to understand we must fund our own politics. We must understand that we cannot depend on a party. This is about our interests. Roy Moore was not our interest. Doug Jones, what he was saying, our interest. Doesn't mean that Doug Jones could not have a much better platform. But what it means is we had a racist, bigoted son of a bitch in Roy Moore who was running for office, who didn't care about black people whatsoever. But I need every black person who is watching this right now in St. Louis, in Atlanta, in Charlotte, in New Orleans, in Miami, in Los Angeles, in New York, in Cleveland, in Cincinnati, in Chicago, in Mississippi, in Tennessee, in Florida, all of these places, to understand we have to be in a position where we are funding our own politics, where we are on the ground, where we are not only just going city by city, but neighborhood by neighborhood, block by block, street by street, house by house. This is how you maximize your power. We just saw it in Atlanta. Keisha Lance Bottoms wins by less than 800 votes against Mary Norwood. Why? Massive black turnout. I need our people to understand we have to recognize our power. We have our power. Black people powered Doug Jones to a victory. Black votes made this possible. That's how you win. That means in Georgia, you've got a black woman, Stacey Abrams, who is running for governor. That means if you're in Georgia tomorrow, what you should be doing is focusing on how do you mobilize, how do you organize people on the ground in advance of that primary. How do you get them out? We need to, there are 800,000 unregistered but eligible African Americans in Georgia. We got to go get every single one of them. You win elections by grassroots. You win it by what happens on the ground. Next point, Democrats, let me be clear. Stop chasing white conservative women. If y'all want to win, you are not going to win by continue to throw money at white conservative women who are not going to vote for you. What you should, y'all need to listen to me clearly. I sat at a meeting at the Republican National Committee office. A black woman said, no, Reince Priebus was the then chair of the Republican National Committee. She said, no group hates us more than black women. That means black women must be the center of efforts by Tom Perez, by Keith Ellison to turn those folks out. That means going to AKAs, going to Deltas, going to Sigma Gamma Rho, going to Zeta Phi Beta, going to the Links, going to Me Phi Me, going to these female church groups, going to these female book clubs. That's how you're going to win. Black women will power you to a victory. Do y'all hear me? That means also, Democratic Party, that come 2019 and through 2020, black women organizations should have their own Democratic forums with all of the candidates. No, not partnering with somebody else. It should be done with black media as well. Do y'all hear me? I'm laying down a marker right now. Black women's groups should get 2 forums / town halls / debates in 2019 and should get 2 in 2020 at a bare minimum. I'm laying down a marker, folks. This is what's going to happen. I need everybody listening to me to understand. We have power. We have power. It was Selma that put Doug Jones over the threshold tonight. I need black people to listen to me. If you don't want to talk about Jimmy Lee Jackson, if you don't want to talk about Cheney, Schwerner, and Goodman, if you don't want to talk about the civil rights people who lost their lives, do understand that you had better vote for Trayvon, and you had better vote for Iyanla Jones. You had better vote for Rekia Boyd. You had better vote for Mike Garner. You had better vote for these African Americans who have been killed at the hands of police who can't vote. Right now, there's a ballot initiative in Florida that will restore the rights of formerly incarcerated. Do y'all understand that it's in excess of 1 million people? Do you understand how many of them are black? Do you understand right now in Ohio, State Representative Alicia Reese is trying to get this Ohio Bill of Rights to guarantee the right to vote in the Constitution. That needs to be on the ballot. That needs to be getting signatures. The AKAs have stood up and adopted this. I need the alphas and the omegas and the kappas and the iotas and the sigmas. I need all of them to be standing with her as well. We have power. It is in our hands. Here we sit 398 years after 20-odd Africans arrived in Port Comfort, Virginia, where they actually stood. It's been fighting ever since. We were not included in this Constitution. It was 244 years of slavery. It was 12 years of Reconstruction. It was nearly 100 years of Jim Crow. All of these things happened. You have the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Civil Rights Act of 1965, the Fair Housing Act of 1968. You had all of these things happening, and this is why it matters. And let me say my last point. This is my last point before I go. Black media matters. I put Doug Jones on Tom Joyner Morning Show 3 times. 3 times. DeWanna Thompson, I put that sister on the show. Rose Sanders, Hank Sanders. You know why? Because they wouldn't have got put on by other networks. We have to understand why it matters. TV One has canceled NewsOne Now. Last show is December 21st. I'm working on other things. I'm working on other options. We got to have a daily voice. But you know what we got to do? We got to support it. We got to watch it. And in fact, if it's an online model, we may have to pay for it monthly. But let me tell you something right now. I would rather have the option of us having our own platforms than we are depending on somebody else to tell our story. We're going to break this thing down tomorrow on NewsOne Now. But I'm telling y'all right now, I got 8 more shows. And I'm not done. I'm not done. I'm going to need folks on Twitter. I'm going to need folks on Instagram. I'm going to need folks on Facebook to support whatever it is I plan on doing. No, I didn't forget the Deltas. But I'm telling y'all right now, we have got to be in a position where we are funding our own politics, funding our own grassroots efforts, funding our own media. I'm telling you, that is the only way. We cannot be in a position where asking one of these networks, please, baby, please, can y'all put us on? No, that cannot do it. I hope all of you tonight saw with your own eyes what happens when black folks turn out. And keep in mind, it's going to be a lot of black folks in Alabama who didn't vote. That means there's more people we can turn out. It's more people we can drive to the polls. 2018 is critical. We must be voting in city elections, school board elections, state representative, state senators, lieutenant governors, state secretaries of state, attorney generals, judges, congressional races, U.S. House, U.S. Senate. We have the power in our hands to affect massive change. The question is, will we use our power? You can't blame somebody else if you have power and you're unwilling to use it. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow, 7 a.m. on TV1 NewsOne Now, 7:15. I'm going to see y'all. You can hear me on the Tom Joyner Morning Show. We're dedicating the first 3 segments in both hours to the Alabama Senate race. We're lining guests up right now. I've already texted Doug Jones. I've already texted Charles Barkley. We got some other folks lined up. Folks, this is hashtag Black Votes Matter. Use your power, because those who oppose us are using their power. Stay tuned for more announcements from me. I'm going to need your back. I'm going to need your support. But I'm telling you right now, I am fired up. I'm ready to go. And I'm ready to hashtag bring the funk in the midterm elections, because we about to show America what black power looks like. We are about to show America what it means when we show up and show out. If you think tonight was a one-time thing, America, I'm telling you right now, black folks are about to show y'all what democracy looks like. Y'all ready? I'm ready. Let's go. I'll see y'all in the morning.